back to CFB Nation. I am your host, Nino Brown, and I got my guy, Mr. Get It Done, aka Dino. And when you see us on the screen, you already know what it means. It's Devy Down's time, folks. Dino, how we doing tonight?
Not too bad. I'm excited to be back. Excited to talk about this gentleman. I've been waiting for us to get to him. So,
I knew this was going to be an episode that you would enjoy. Speed's the guy, track guy, right? A three-way athlete. If you think about it, like he's also a ball player. But yeah, it's interesting. I was a fan of his counterpart in Decorian Clark for a few years. He's kind of caught the injury bug back-to-back years. This guy caught my eye, year one. I'm like, oh, man, UTSA kind of puts out these guys, Franklin, Clark. Now he could be the next one. And he seems as though this year he kind of took that step. And I think you're about to see liftoff for this Roadrunner in the 2025 season. But let's get right into it. A gentleman, this trait right off the rip is something that I like. He's 6'1", 180 when he came into the league. He's already 195 pounds. So he put on 15 pounds of muscle. You know what I mean? And he's still, you look at it on the field, but that dude is a jetpack out there.
and he still got size. Like he could grow
I
some
can put
more
more
too.
on. Yeah, and I don't even think it would affect the speed at all. Three-star athlete, top 70 athlete in his class, out of Jacksonville High School, Texas. Three-sport athlete, like we already mentioned, football, basketball, track. I'm not a track guy. I don't know the speeds here, but for 100-meter, he ran almost, an 11.05. Dino, that's moving, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. For a high school kid, that's booking.
Yeah, so you kind of see it on the field, man. This guy in the middle of the field, good luck, bro. You better have your boots strapped up and be ready to go when this kid catches the ball. Like I said, basketball player as well. Like, you're a football player. I get it. But this kid was a legit basketball player. Almost 13 points a game, 6 rebounds, 5 assists. He was a two-way high school player, 4-year varsity starter, first team District 9 5A, 2022 THSCA Academic All-State. And it's in the family, bro. It's in the brother pedigree. His brother, Deshaun McCuin, played safety at TSU and San Diego State. This kid is a fun prospect. Everton I seen it at the high school level on to, the first couple of years at UTSA. Loved it. But talk to us about what he did over at Jacksonville High School.
Yeah. So before I get there, I'm going to highlight. You said he was a first team district. So anytime you're first team in the state of Texas,
Yeah.
obviously you're a god. But like you said, Jacksonville High School, 4-year starter. Sophomore year, played 3 games, 24 receptions, a little over 200 yards, 3 touchdowns. He had 4 rushes for 14 yards. Junior year, 10 games, 63 receptions, about 900 yards, 9 touchdowns, 8 rushes, 60 yards. Senior year, 10 games again, 67 receptions, almost 1,000 yards, had about 960 yards, 8 touchdowns. 19 rushes for 100 yards and a touchdown. And like you said, two-way starter on defense his senior year, 10 games, 43 tackles, or total tackles, sorry, 30 solo, 3 pass breakups, and 2 interceptions.
Yeah, I mean, the kid, athlete, pure athlete. I understand why he was a top 70 athlete in his class. The way he plays the game offensively, bro, him defending you. God bless, but because he has that quick response, he's got that twitch factor, he's got that good releasing it out of the break. So this kid on the playing both ways, I'm like, all right, bro, I'm hoping he gets tired. Pretty much, just hopefully he gets winded and I'm able to break one on him. Because other than that, he has all the capability to be a two-way player with the track background. So you have that stamina, the breath control, right? You can go. He did relays as well. It wasn't like he was just a 100-meter guy. He did the 4x200-meter relay as well. So he had some endurance to him, some longevity. He could cook out there on the field at that speed for a long period of time, playing both sides of the ball. Some of the things, like I kind of already alluded to, but some of the things, like he's just a football player. Like he's just a gritty football player. You can he's versatile because you can put this kid anywhere you really want to on the field. He eats in the slot. He eats in between the hash. That's where he does his dirty work. But, man, if you wanted to put him on the outside, you can. He can work that. You put him in motion, dangerous. Bubble screens, dangerous. Like, this kid is just absolutely. One thing that jumped off the thing is I was going through watching film. I'm watching one. I want to say it was Rice. They end up losing the game to Rice, as bad as it was. Shout out. I think his name is Dean Connors, running back from Rice. Mm-hmm. Oh, my God. This kid. He transferred to Houston. Watch out, bro. This kid got the boogie to him. But he jumped off this guy. They lost to Rice. There was like a end of the game kickoff, like just hook and ladder to try to get it. He might have touched the ball 14 out of the 19 times that the ball was thrown out. So, and they were throwing it across the field. He was everywhere. They knew who the playmaker was, who the guy was that was going to get something popping for them if it was necessary. That's the talent that he gets. He's quick, he's speedy. We see football quick. He's besides football quick. He has just straight speed to him, elusiveness, great boundary awareness. We saw in the intro, 3-yard out, boom, quick, got his hands out there, attacked the ball, got 2 feet in bounds, scored the touchdown. It was a great pass, but just controlling of his body, being aware where the pylon was, being able to get 2 feet down, something that you're already aware of at the next level. He has that. He's versatile, like we already mentioned, inside and out. Solid route runner. He's not super twitched up, but he got enough twitch where he can make you miss in the open field. Good, really good versus press coverage, and he has hands. He's not one of these late guys that like body catches. He attacks the ball, and he attacks the ball in strides. Like when he hits the ball, he's already hitting the ground running. I love everything about this kid game. His connection with Owen McCuin already seems good. I think, like I said, going to hit in 2025 and kind of hit the ground running. What are your thoughts about the things I mentioned about his attributes and some of the things that you saw that scream off the screen to you?
Yeah, I mean, obviously you showed the clip at the beginning. You saw the speed, you saw the elusiveness. I love any wide receiver that is versatile, play inside, outside. And again, for how quick he is, his routes are really crisp. He doesn't round them out or anything like that. So that's something that caught my eye.
Yeah, if you don't have closing speed as a DB, if you don't, if you're not good at angles, right, and anticipation, this kid's probably going to cook you quickly off the line of scrimmage. And then the rest of the time, you're scrambling to try to catch up. And by the time you think you got him, boom, now he's going another direction, and he spun around like a top. I've watched multiple games. I watched the Rice game. I watched his Christian game. I watched like 4 or 5 games, full game. And this kid just was spit, even when the ball wasn't coming to him. Like what he does to create, mismatches, defensive matches, because he pulls the safety over the top, right? Gives other guys one-on-ones in the hot route. His game is just, it translates instantly to the next level. He may not be a 1, you know what I mean? But what he can do for a wide receiver room to an offense to be that guy for, can read when the QB needs him to sit down in zone coverage. All right, we got to go off platform. I got to run out of pocket. All right, get off your read, man. I need you to he's that guy that can do that because of how he's screens, short and intermediate routes. And he can run. I'm going to go at least 7 out of 9. There's a possibility he can run all 9. But what I saw, he's really good at least 7 of the 9 routes. This kid had multiple offers. A lot of schools all over the board. Like, talk to us about the offers.
Yeah, so you have 15 total offers. Some of them North Texas, TCU, big Texas schools, La Tech, Tulane, Colorado, which I thought was pretty interesting considering he would have been with his quarterback now had they gone to Colorado.
Right.
Ended up going to UTSA where he was recruited by Joe Price.
And he went there knowing what the room looked like, ready to compete. Freshman year, he kind of got in there and earned himself some targets, bro. Like, earned himself enough targets. Now, granted, there was, Franklin was gone. So it was now the Declaring Clock stepping up to be the 1, and they were looking for that too. And this kid grabbed the bull by the horns. And now you had another combo again, right? You had Franklin and Clock, and now you had Clock and McCuin. And from McCowan and McCuin, you heard that a lot. There was a drive in that race game. I want to say it was a 9-play drive, 7-play drive, probably, accumulated like 65 yards. He accounted for like 4 receptions on that drive, over 40 yards. Like, he can be the go-to guy for any football team. He just has it all. Like, he doesn't carry that aura of having to be that diva. I demand 9-10 targets a game. If I get him, cool. If I get 3, I'm going to make the best out of the 3. And everything I get a touch, when I touch the ball, everything's going to be, positive yards. So I mentioned this freshman year, played in 12 games, 66 targets as a freshman. Like, this kid, there was a void when Franklin left. He filled that void quickly. 42 receptions, 546 yards, 3 touchdowns. He had, almost 250 yards after the catch. That was almost a little less than about 45% of his yards came after contact. He was a certified chain mover his freshman year, 22 first downs he accounted for. And like I said, the versatility. He was 68%, out wide, 30% in the slot. So they put him wherever he wanted. They needed him, and he demanded the ball, and he was productive in the slot and out. Again, this year, only played in 8 games, 63 targets, 45 receptions, 424 yards, 5 touchdowns. Same kind of dividend. 63% out wide, 37% in the slot. So they use him a little bit more in the slot, right? Because I think that translated with the way their offense was this year. Run the ball, with Bonds and that heavy run game, and then hit him quick passes, and then hit him over the top of the play action. But he had almost 300 yards after the catch. So again, this was almost 70% of his yards came after contact. Small guy, but he's able to go up there and fight contested catches. Almost 40% contested catches, 5 of 13. Like I said, certified chain mover, 25 first downs accounted for. He led the team in targets, receptions, TDs, target share, and through it all, Dino, my man, football player, 1 penalty committed the whole year. I'm a big fan. You put me on to this kid. I knew about him a little bit, kind of dove more into him when you're like, yeah, well, let's talk about this guy. I'm like, all right, I know who he is. I'm familiar with this game. I wasn't that familiar. I thought I was familiar, but this kid can cook. Opportunity knocks, right? So talk to us about this wide receiver room, and maybe he is the wide receiver 1. Who knows?
Yeah, before I get there, I want to highlight again, only 1 penalty. That's amazing for the 8 game. And then for being kind of a smaller stature guy, playing out 68% his freshman year, 63. I mean, that screams out to me because, like I said, he's not the biggest guy to be playing out wide. So
had 13 attempts at contested catches. So like McCuin's like, all right, bro, he's my guy. And he plays bigger than what he is. I'll let him go get the ball. I'll let him go up there and get it. You know what I mean? So I seen one of the touchdowns, right? Went up there, boom, got it, touchdown, right to the Army guy. Here you go, man. Like, kid has no problem going up there and fighting for the ball. That's the basketball in him. So he has that athleticism where he can fight for that 50-50 ball. But I love this kid's game. So yeah, talk about this because I think by default he might be the one.
Yeah, he might be. Because like you said, De'Corian Clark coming off that ACL injury.
Mm-hmm.
Then they got Willie McCoy, played 11 games, 63 targets, only 27 receptions, 534 yards, 4 touchdowns.
That's a big gap, Dino. You're talking 60 times. You didn't even catch half.
40 drops or not catches.
Right.
Yeah, that's a pretty big gap, like you said. Then you got David Amador II, 5 games, 38 targets, 30 receptions, 389 yards, a touchdown. Jamel Hardy, 12 games, only 14 targets, 10 receptions, 116 yards, 2 touchdowns. DJ Allen, 6 games, 16 targets, 11 receptions, 161 yards, touchdown. Then you got Patrick Overmeyer, who's the tight end, played in all 13 games, 44 targets, 31 receptions, 283 yards, 3 touchdowns.
I think he's the main guy that he's going to battle with is Overmeyer.
Yeah, for the catches.
Came on down the stretch for the Road Runners was a red zone target. He
was a safety blanket.
Yeah,
the season went on.
I think he could really battle with him.
So, and then some transfers that I'm actually kind of excited for the Road Runners. AJ Wilson out of Houston Christian, 12 games, 60 targets. Again, big gap, only 29 receptions, but 825 yards and 8 touchdowns.
Screams big play McGee, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then you got Jalen Smith from Michigan State, 3 games, 2 targets, 1 reception, 16 yards, but kind of a bigger guy. So
right.
And then recruit-wise, they're bringing in Kingston Jones from John F. Kennedy High School, who was a 3-star recruit out of Louisiana.
Yeah, I mean, it's there
for him to take over.
Right, but there's the opportunity. Like, there's no like identity of like this is the wide receiver 1. Like the De'Corian Clark, you thought was wide receiver 1, but we got 2 seasons of like injury plagued. Like the season before, he only played half a year because he got injured as well. So back-to-back years with an injury. We mentioned McCoy, but I don't know if the hands are really there. I'd have to go back and kind of break down like. Uncatchable balls, off-target throws to see out of those 41 or 40, uncaught balls. What the issue was it more him? Did he have 6 or 7 drops? Was he really, was he not on the same page? I like the kid coming in, AJ Wilson. right? But you're coming in, right? I know you're still staying, Houston, area, but like you're coming in. This guy's already established, so you got to beat him out before you know what I mean. Like you take over. I think Overmeyer is a guy that's going to be, like I said, his main competition, especially like in the red zone, goal line, third down. He's a 6'6", 240 something pounds. But this kid being so versatile, where you can move him in motion, you can get him in the slot, you can get him outside, you get him in screens, you can run, a 5 yard out to this kid, and he gets his separation off the line of scrimmage, and boom, all of a sudden 5 yards turn to 15 in the blink of an eyeball. So I honestly think by default, this guy could be wide receiver 1. We might be seeing he could get to that 85, 90 targets this year. Because you want to know why? They have no running backs. All of their running backs are gone. They're looking for a guy to come in. There's this very little experience in that running back room. So when you look at, I hate this term, returning production-wise, I'm not a fan of it. The arrow for production just screams towards our guy, McCuin. So, like, McCuin, I have to go with, I think he's going to be wide receiver 1 for UTSA, and then the run was coming in. And his game, a lot of things I see now, these might not be the sexiest guys when it comes.
That was the first thing I thought when I saw him. I was
at the NFL level. But we're talking about, what they brought in the Devy aspect of college, or what they could bring at the next level. Now, my first guy was Harry Douglas, right? Now, he didn't pan out, but he was in a loaded wide receiver room. Algie Crumpler was also there at Atlanta. So it was hard for him to eat. But in Louisville, bro, he had back-to-back 70 reception seasons, back-to-back 1,100-yard seasons, and he had 13 touchdowns over that 2-year run. Got himself in the third round to Atlanta in the 08 draft. And then a guy that the NFL seems to think has some talent because he just got a big contract, right? Coming out of Washington. Dami Brown, North Carolina, right? Back-to-back 50-yard reception seasons, back-to-back 1,000-yard seasons, and he had 20 touchdowns over 2 years with Sam Howell. He got himself in the third round in the NFL draft in 2021. Speedy guys, right? They just wreaked havoc with the ball in their hands, just fielded generals, understood ankles and leverage when they were going, good in and out of cuts, could kill you. You press them, you better be strong enough, to manhandle at the line of scrimmage, because he's going to have, he's got that sauce to him to smoke you and leave you undressed right there. So both of those guys, and like I said, when the ball's in their hands and they're moving, speeds. So those are my two guys. I know they're not the sexiest NFL picks, but for college ball, man, these guys had a lot of potential. They obviously didn't hit that potential. Oh, we haven't seen Dami Brown hit that potential yet. Yeah. He flashed a little bit this year down the stretch, for the Commanders. But Harry Douglas kind of was a flash in the pan in the NFL. But, man, at Louisville, he was fun. So what do you think about my two guys, and what do you got?
Yeah, like we were talking before the show, I completely forgot about Harry Douglas. I hate to say it, but like you said, in Atlanta, he was kind of the odd man out of that stacked offense. And then Dami Brown, like you said, he and Sam Howell kind of started that UNC train back up.
Yep.
So, like you said, I'm a big fan of his. He kind of started to scratch the surface, like you said, last season. And I think he's going to eat down in Jacksonville.
Yes.
So my two, both current players, or one might be.
Yeah.
Kind of still up in the air.
Tail end of it.
Yeah. So my first one is Sterling Shepard. Oklahoma, he was just a dog. Hit him with those bubble routes, like you said, or he had that first quick step off the line and he passed you right away. And then my second guy is DJ Moore. Got a bag last year with the Bears, but again, kind of where I can see our guy's body going to long term more.
Yes, yeah.
More stocky, more compact. But again, probably some of the best hands in the NFL. He's got that slight twitch. Versatile. I know he played some outside for the Bears, but also was in the slot when Allen got hurt. Sneaky speed. So that's what popped out to me.
Yeah, I like both of the comps. Sterling Shepard, man, at Oklahoma. You're talking about a guy, his freshman season that had over 600 yards. He was averaging almost like 14, 15 yards per catch. And this guy wasn't afraid at the moment. Never was. Yeah. Like, whether it was Tampa Bay, whether it was the Giants, wherever he went, where they needed someone to step up, he had no problem stepping up. You know what I mean? Like injuries kind of hurt his NFL career. You know, he might have had like 4 or 5 half seasons. You know what I mean with injuries. But yeah, I liked his game. It translated well to the NFL. And he showed there was spurts where he was like a dude for the Giants in like back-to-back when they needed wide receivers. So yeah, I love that one. And then DJ Moore, like a guy that was rotting away in Carolina, but was still putting up numbers, still productive. And then that's what he did in college, and then it's what he's continuing to do. Look at Chicago. I mean, why it was a loaded wide receiver room. Rome, Keenan Allen himself, the tight end, Cole Kmet, all these guys demanding targets and receptions. He ate. You know, he's continued to eat over there with the rookie quarterback, trying to figure it out. The year before, he was with Justin Fields, trying to figure it out. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I love both of them. And then it's a combination. If you take all 4 of these guys, right, and kind of just squished them together and pushed out a product, I think you're seeing, Devin McCuin in a bottle, or in a culmination of these 4 players. This is what you're going to get. It could go either way.
All right. So now I got to be that guy.
All right.
After this year, P4.
See, this is my thing, and I've always wondered, right? A lot of these guys from UTSA try to go to the next level. Like Zachary Franklin tried to go P4, but he couldn't really pan out. Like, got kicked off the team or left the team when he was at Ole Miss. Came back to the team for senior year or his grad senior, whatever it was. I don't know if he leaves. I think he has the talent to leave. I think it will always go with if McCuin's coming back, he's probably going to stay. That connection, because I think that connection after this year, you'll see he probably could get to 1,000 yards. Right, McCuin's going to take that step, probably be one of that top guys in the conference, right, and in that G5 conference for quarterbacks. So. If they're going to keep that connection and grow it, there's a good chance. Who else, not to knock it, who else is going to take that NIL money UTSA? Like, you know what I mean? Those guys could eat up the majority of that football NIL money. I mean, they're probably going to get calls. They're going to get, bags thrown at them. But it's going to be all right. We could separate, maybe not have the same amount of success. We've been doing this for 3 years together now. You know what I mean? We know each other. We know each in and other's ticks, calls, signals, whatever it may be. So if they have a really good year together this year, I would be more of like maybe 40% that he hits the portal, you know what I mean, to go to a P4 school. But I just think it all is going to matter on the success that they have together this season.
Makes sense.
Just because of the way it works now, they'll follow each other. Guys will go, but like some teams might not need the wide receiver. They might only need the quarterback, right? So he could end up, say, going to Purdue and one guy ends up going to Kentucky. And it's like, all right, now you're not as good together, as you would have been together at UTSA. You could be, you could win that conference and have ridiculous numbers. And now everybody's looking at you. He's looking for Zachary Franklin. He had that 1 year, right? He was top of the charts. QB was good, but then when Franklin left and they were, the Corey Moore got hurt and this guy's freshman year, Frank wasn't as good as he was, those past 7 or 9 years that he was in college football. So Frank Harris was a guy, but when he started to lose his weapons, I think he was a guy who could have went when it was hot. He could have went to a P4 and he might have been in the NFL had he made that transition, that jump.
Yeah. I'm just saying, if he was one place that I think he would absolutely eat and kind of fill a role that we saw in Louisville with that Rondell Moore, Lacey role that he's there now, he would slide into that kind of role, for me at least.
Kentucky, I mentioned them. Like, Kentucky is a school.
They're hurting now.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know who's going to be the OC because they turn over OCs every other year, it seems like. And quarterbacks, since it's Levis, it's really been like bing, 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 bing. But that scheme, the way that offense has kind of worked, you usually get some burners on the outside. He can play both roles. But then the open field, right, usually for that slot guy and that tight end to kind of cook and eat. So I think that would be a nice spot, but it all would depend on who's the quarterback and what kind of scheme they're going to be. But yeah, I like this kid. I was a fan of him. He caught my eye. You turned me on to him. I'm a real big fan. I think his success this year is going to escalate, and people are going to be like, all right, maybe he does take the jump to another school, or maybe he just locks in him and oh my God,
Yeah, maybe.
become that
I mean,
duo.
now with the G5 getting at least one spot guaranteed every single
That's
year.
what I mean, right? So if
Yeah.
they have a great year, and this kid puts up 1,000 yards, McCuin puts up 3,300 and 27 touchdowns, they're the combo. They're in it, maybe to possibly beat top 3 team for the G5 bid. Why wouldn't you run it back, right? Why risk it going somewhere else? Unless Alabama's calling. You know what I mean?
One of the big
Or
dogs.
Michigan's calling. You know what I mean? Ohio State ain't calling nobody for wide receivers. They don't need to.
They don't need to.
But you know what I'm saying? So, like, if a team like that's calling, well, then that's a conversation you don't want to have, with your spouse, your family, or whatever. All right. But you got to remember, you know what you're getting into. You don't know what you're getting into when you go to that other school, right? Like, so, yeah, Moon, I'm with it. That's what I said. He could get to 85, 90 targets. I think he's the wide receiver one. I think that injury is lingering for Decorian Clark. And I think we both mentioned the combination and the comfortability that he has with the quarterback already. And we've seen it down the stretch. I think he's wide receiver one for them. And I think this kid has the opportunity to get 85, 90 targets, 1,000, 1,200 yards easy. If he gets to the double-digit touchdowns, lock it in. Like, this kid's probably going to be wide receiver one for that conference. And he's going to be the guy everybody's talking about. Could he hit the portal? Could he not hit the portal? Yeah. I'm with it. All right, I'm Nino Brown. That's my guy, Dino. Once again, this is Devy Dollins. Devin McCuin is up now.